Dear beloved, welcome back. Today I have a simple question for you, okay? Simple question. What are you waiting for? Okay, so maybe not so simple, but I just want to chat about this quickly because I think it's an important thing. And in today's day and age, I feel like there's a couple camps of people, okay? One, and yes, I'm going to generalize because this is all we can do on a podcast when I'm not having a conversation with you directly. I'm going to generalize. So there's one camp of people that I've been seeing lately who are just kind of floating, I guess, kind of given up, don't really have any aspirations. They're just kind of existing, right? Waiting for things to happen to them, not really putting themselves out there or working towards anything, just kind of existing and waiting for things to happen in their lives. Then there's another type of person that I've been seeing lately who is done with waiting. They're just like, hey, you know what? I'm going to make this happen. And I'm going to do the things that I know how to do. And I'm going to learn the things that I don't know how to do. And I'm going to make something happen, right? Now, there's going to be, again, like I said, it's generalization. So you may fit into one and you may fit into the other, or you may be a mix of both. And that's okay because we all are probably a mix of both at times. But I asked the question, what are you waiting for? Because I think in answering it, it can get to the heart of what we really want in life and what we're willing to do for that. Okay, so follow me here. If you're a little lost, it's okay. Follow me here. So let's think about this. If you're thinking, okay, one way we can answer this question is, what are we waiting for? Well, maybe you're a young woman who desires to be married and you say, well, I'm waiting for my man. Okay, fair. I understand that. I understand where you're coming from there. Because I've said that a time or two in my life. But my further question to you, to go deeper into that, is, well, who are you waiting for then, right? Who is this imaginary person that you're expecting to be placed into your lap, right? Are you waiting for that to happen, just to you? Do you want to be an active participant in that journey of finding your future spouse? Right? All of these things that go into it. So what I'm trying to help you understand is that waiting, well, it can be an explicit invitation from the Lord to wait for something. And if that's the case, wait. But most of the time, it's not an explicit invitation from Him to stop everything that you're doing and wait. A lot of times when we are waiting on the Lord, and I have a whole episode on this, waiting on the Lord, but a lot of times when we think, oh, we have to wait for this to happen, or we have to be patient, yes, of course we do. But that does not mean that we are doing nothing in the waiting, right? So, okay, another way to ask this question, when you're saying, what are you waiting for? Well, I'm waiting for my future spouse, right? Okay, we have already said this. Going further into that question, are you the spouse? Are you who you are today? Are you the spouse you want to be? Okay, let that sink in for you for a second. Are you ready to be married today? And of course, if you're not in a relationship and not engaged, no, you're not ready to be, like in a very real sense, like you have to have that relationship with that person in order to really be ready. But like in the ways that you can be ready as a single person, are you, right? Are you ready? Do you understand what marriage is? Are you understanding what's involved here, right? So I ask this question out of love and out of concern, because I don't want you to waste time. I don't want you to waste time waiting for something to be placed in your lap. Because let me tell you, it won't be. Whatever you think you're waiting for, it's not going to be placed in your lap the way that you think it will be. Whether you're waiting to get a great job or you're waiting to, finish up, XYZ before you can get a new job. Like, what steps are you taking to make that next thing happen, right? If it's putting your trust more in the Lord, are you doing that? Or are you still trying to be in control? Are you brushing up on your resume? Are you working towards your degree so that you can get a job? Are you, networking with potential companies that you want to work for? Are you doing all these things? All of these things are there to help you. And yeah, they're hard. I'm not here saying that they're super fun or super easy. But waiting for something to be dropped in your lap is frankly a waste of time, because you are going to be disappointed when it doesn't come, and you're going to be behind when you finally wake up and realize that I should have done something about it. And by the time you start doing that, I'm not saying it will be too late, but if you start now, you'll have more time, if that makes sense. So in all of these things, right, if you're waiting for XYZ to happen, or, to meet your future spouse, or to be ready to get married and all these things, I have an invitation for you if that's you. If you're waiting specifically for that piece of the puzzle for your future vocation, I have an invitation for you to my program Made Beloved, because I've designed it to help someone exactly like you who may be waiting or in a waiting season where you don't know that person yet, or you do, but it's very early on, and all of these things. But you have this time, this gift of time that you've been given, and you want to do something with it, right? You want to do something with this time. And so this is a solution that I have created specially for you if that's you, because I've been in that season. And when I was in that season, I was in graduate school and I was studying marriage and family theology. And my goodness, when I tell you that studying these topics changed my life, not only on the day that I was learning them, but I knew it was changing every relationship I would have moving forward, and every, interaction with somebody and things like that. It was changing all of that. And I saw that as so beneficial, because I was having questions that I didn't even know that I had being answered. And I was coming to a greater understanding of humanity, of my role as a woman in this world, my role as a single person, my role as eventually a wife and mother, my role in this world as it is. And it was changing everything. And so I thought to myself, okay, I had a really good formation growing up, but I didn't quite get to this depth and this level of understanding on these topics. So is this sort of thing out there for people who maybe don't have time to move halfway across the world and study this as a master's degree? And I looked around and there really wasn't anything like it. So I decided, okay, I see the value in this so much that I want to hand it on to people in a similar situation, right? I want to hand it on to people who are looking for that thing to help them understand who they are, help them understand where they fit into this world and where they fit into this society, and come alongside these people and to show them the truth and the freedom that comes with living our lives according to God's plan. Because the world is telling us one thing and God is telling us another thing, and one of these two things brings life, not both. And hint, it's God's way of doing things. That's what brings life. And the problem is that the world and the things that they're promoting is flashy, and it's getting a lot of our attention. And what's not so flashy But what is truly what fulfills us and what gives us happiness and is life-giving is God's way of doing things and how he created us to be. And so I want to hand this on to take what I've learned, distill it down into a way that is understandable, not watered down. That's not at all what I'm trying to do here. There's plenty of resources that are super watered down. And for what? Okay, that's just another beef that I have with that. For why are you watering things down? It's doing and no one any good. But taking the truth and distilling it down to be understood wherever you're at, while at the same time taking practical things that are steps that we can take. Because I'm a very practical person. I like to have, the intellectual and the, I like to make the conclusion in my head, but I also like to know, okay, that's where I'm going. Like, how do I get there? Like, what is the process for getting there? Right? I always ask that. And so I wanted to make this both of those things. I wanted to create a resource that has the truth at its foundation, that shares how God created us to be, his amazing design, and the beauty to which we are called if you are called to marriage, and then how to do it. Like, okay, yeah, how do we live in the world where secular culture has run rampant with lies? How do we live in that world while living the truth? How do we continue to discern every day what is of the Lord and what is not? How can we progress each day in our life of virtue? How can we build our relationships with intention, with good communication and understanding and all of these things, right? How can we start preparing for having a holy and healthy marriage in a world that is so against marriage? How can we do all of these things? And the really special thing about it is that, because we're working on virtues here, we're working on building these things up, that it's not only going to help you or be useful to you in your future vocation, but in fact, it's going to start today. Because when we start practicing and cultivating good communication skills, or we start practicing and cultivating virtue, that's going to help us today, right? That's going to help us where we are at, to live the season that we're in to the best of our ability. That's what it's going to do. It's not going to just be there for us when we get married, but it's going to be there for us now. And that is the cool thing about virtue, and the cool thing about preparation is that it's good then and it's good now. Anyway, all of that to say, I have a huge heart for you and for your success and for your holiness and happiness, and that the way that I can help you is through this program. So if you are sitting there and feeling convicted in any way about this question of what are you waiting for, and if your answer is falling short of anything that you're willing to say out loud and be proud of, if you are saying, you know what, I'm tired of waiting and I'm ready to dive into what God has prepared for me, to understand how he made me, and to understand how and what I can do now to prepare me for the future, but also what I can do now to step into that design that he's made for me, then this is for you. Enrollment is open right now. I only do this a few times a year, and I'm it's open right now. We're starting on March 25th, which is the Ascension. No, I'm so sorry. It's the Annunciation, where, the angel Gabriel comes to Mary and says, to her that she will bear Jesus. And Mary gives her yes. And so I'm extending this invitation to you, and asking you if you will join your yes with Mary and take on this journey that the Lord's prepared for you, and that I've worked hard to prepare for you as well. If this is the time for you and you choose to say yes, the link is in my show notes. You can go there and check it out, learn more about it, send me an email, send me a DM. I'd love to chat with you, all of the things. But I wanted to just share that with you and share this invitation with you in case that's where you're at, that you're waiting with no end in sight and you're tired of it. This is a way to not wait. This is a way to be active in your waiting, to move forward in the way that God has planned for you. All of these things. And if it's not for you, if you're not in that season, that's okay. And if you're not in that season because you're past that season, but you know of someone who is in that season, please share this with them. Please share this resource with them. I pray that every day that the Lord will send me the people that He has in store for me to serve. And part of that prayer being answered could be you sharing this with people that you know. So I would be so grateful for that, to share it with your friends, family, anyone who you think might benefit from this. I can only share it with so many people, and I would love for you to come alongside me and share that with your community as well. But anyway, I am here for you. I'm here to serve in this way. And just the encouragement as we end here, that if you're waiting for something to just fall into your lap, it probably won't happen. So whether or not this is the opportunity for you right now, I encourage you to link up with the community around you that you do have and to talk about these topics and to say like, hey, I've been waiting for this. Let's brainstorm and let's think of ways that I can stop waiting and start doing. How I can actively rely on the Lord more, how I can actively wait, how I can actively do XYZ, and link arms with your community, because that's super, super important and super helpful.